What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Noname back at again with another coaching update video. Got like a big update today. Technically 3 confirmed coaches and 1 rumored one, but Joe Judge, Dave Gettleman, and the front office and the staff have made some moves today. They've hired Freddie Kitchens, or at least are in the final talks with him. Not confirmed yet what position he's going to take. He could be coming on as an offensive coordinator assistant, an assistant head coach. We have a space at tight ends coach. We still have a space at offensive line coach, which I doubt, but there's a lot of spaces on the team that he can fill out, and they're not exactly sure which one he's coming in at yet because nothing's confirmed yet for him. But what is confirmed is that we're also taking on Bret Bielema from the New England Patriots, a former head coach at Wisconsin and Arkansas. He was on the Patriots staff with Judge, and he's coming on as a defensive line coach. At least that's what they think he's coming on, was because that was his most recent position. There's also an available spot at linebackers coach that who knows, maybe they'll slot him in there, but I think he's going to be our new defensive line coach. Another one coming in is Jerome Henderson, who was actually a former NFL player. He was most recently with the Jets and the Falcons as a defensive passing game coordinator, and so he could come in as our defensive backs coach. And another coach that might be coming in is Jody Wright, who had ties with Judge at Mississippi State and Alabama, where they coached together. He could be coming in as an offensive assistant coach. So we got 4 guys to talk about here real quick. But first and foremost, Freddie Kitchens. I honestly thought that after we hired Jason Garrett that Freddie Kitchens was out the picture, because those were the 2 guys that were kind of like rumored the most to be our new offensive coordinator. We hired Jason Garrett, and I was like, okay, that's probably the end of that with Kitchens, because we got 2 good and they have the possibility to be great quarterback developers in our QB coach, whose name I can't pronounce, so I'm just not going to say it, and in Jason Garrett. There's not really a need for Kitchens. But Kitchens did have tremendous success his first year as the offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. And now it looks like they're bringing him in again. Like I said, he could be coming in as a head coach assistant. Like Judge, despite being young, well-spoken, and seems to have all his stuff together, the fact remains is that he's never been a head coach before, and he could use all the help that he can get. And if we do bring him on, like I said, it's not confirmed as of right now. That's going to be the second former head coach on the Giants staff, which is never a bad thing. And yeah, he made his mistakes, but why not learn from them? Like I said, the most probable position he could probably come in as like an actual coach is probably a tight ends coach, because I believe Kitchens was a tight ends coach when he was in college. Apparently, him and Judge worked together in Mississippi when they were both coaching for Mississippi. Kitchens was a tight ends coach, and we all know he's a great offensive mind, much like Shermer is, much like Garrett is, much like McAdoo is. It's just that all these dudes failed as head coaches, and maybe Kitchens could come in and help us in that spot, especially since I don't see any reason for us to be keeping Evan Ingram. And the way Caden Smith has been performing, and even Rhett Ellison to an extent, if we have a good tight ends coach there's not really a need for Evan Ingram. Next dude I'm going to talk about would be Jerome Henderson. Henderson, like I said, he's coming in to be the defensive backs coach. And Henderson is somebody with a very short resume as a coach, but also a very renowned one. He's worked with a lot of good NFL teams. He's worked with the Jets in 2006 as their director of player development. He's worked with them in 2007. He got promoted to assistant DB coach, and finally he was the actual defensive backs coach in 2008. Then he worked with the Browns from 2009 to 2011, and then the Cowboys, where he obviously had ties with Jason Garrett from 2012 to 2015. Then the Falcons as their defensive passing game coordinator from 2016 to 2019, his most recent stint as a defensive coach. And out of those teams, Cowboys and Falcons, they had average defensive backfields, to say the least. Falcons, I think their best year would have been their Super Bowl berth year, which was in 2016. And the Cowboys always had a good pass rush that kind of covered up some of their holes in the defensive passing game. So we'll see how this works out for the Giants. But then again, it's not exactly like we have a good defensive backfield either. We have one of the worst ones in the league. And I think, any coach could be an upgrade at that position. I'm not really excited to see what Henderson could do. I'm just kind of like, I have a very opinion on him. He was an accomplished player You know, when you look at his resume, he played for the Patriots in 91 to 93, although they were the bad Patriots at that time. He then played with the Bills from 93 to 94, the Eagles in 95, the Patriots again in 96, and then the Jets from 97 to 98. He does have Super Bowl experience. He played in the Bulls and won their 4 Super Bowls, and then another with the Patriots in their first Super Bowl. So he definitely has championship pedigree to an extent on his resume. Hopefully he could bring that over to some of our players here. Next guy I'll talk about real quick is Bret Bielema, the New England Patriots coach that, as far as I can tell, I looked through his resume, I looked through a couple of articles of him, he's probably the only coach we've hired here that doesn't have direct ties to Joe Judge, unless you count last year when he was a consultant to Bill Belichick in 2018, but that was about it. You know what I mean? He was going over his resume real quick. He was a player for the Milwaukee Mustangs, an arena football team back in 94. Then he went to Iowa as a graduate assistant coach. Then Iowa as a linebackers coach. Moved down to Kansas State as a co-defensive coordinator. Wisconsin as a defensive coordinator. Then the head coach from 06 to 12. Arkansas head coach from 13 to 17. Then Belichick called him up from Arkansas and made him the consultant to him in 2018. And then last season in 2019, he was a defensive line coach. And so I think now we're taking him on as a defensive line coach for the Giants. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I would prefer Freddie Roach here just because I feel like Roach was a more accomplished defensive line coach in his college career, but we never know how this could turn out. I mean, this guy could come in and he could help strengthen what is already the strongest part of the football team. I'm just not thoroughly impressed by anything on his resume. I'm taking the same position as I have with all of our other coaches. It's not like I'm going to put them down or anything. These guys could come out here and be the best coaching staff the Giants ever had. You just never know what can happen in any given season. It's just that right now I'm kind of holding off judgment because nothing really is jumping out the page to me. Yes, the Patriots, they always have a stout defensive line. They're always consistent in their defense, but that's just also the Patriots. That's a lot of Belichick. That's a lot of the culture over there in New England. I don't know much about Arkansas and Wisconsin as 2 college teams where he was the head coach there. So it's like I'm holding off judgment for now, but I will be honest, I would have preferred Freddie Roach. And when he went back to Ole Miss because they gave him a promotion and probably a large pay raise, I was disappointed a little bit. And finally, the rumored one, which much like Kitchens isn't exactly confirmed yet, but is believed to be in the works, believed to happen at least by tomorrow morning. Jody Wright, a graduate assistant and coordinator of football operations from Mississippi State from 05 to 09. He was then a graduate assistant and offensive analyst for Alabama from 2010 to 12. Moved on to passing game coordinator and tight ends coach at Jacksonville State in 2013 and running backs coach at UAB in 2014. Then he returned to Alabama where he was director of personnel until 2018, and he was hired as the offensive line and assistant head coach at Alabama at Birmingham. And since then, he's also, we got him. Now, Jody Wright, this was the guy, according to the New York Post article, that has ties to Judge back in Mississippi State and in Alabama, and he was briefly with the Browns in 2019. But what I'm looking at here is this is a hire that I am happy with because he has a good pedigree being with Alabama and at least having some NFL experience with the Browns, albeit it is the Browns. But the Alabama offensive line is always one of the most consistent offensive line out there in college football. There's a reason they had a dynasty. There's a reason they were one of the best, if not the best teams in football. And so if he comes on here as our offensive line coach, or maybe even as some type of offensive, game assistant, offensive game coordinator or whatnot, I'd be happy to have him on the staff because of that pedigree. There's not much else to find about him, but Jody Wright is definitely a Joe Judge hire. While I said, I don't know, Freddie Kitchens is a Joe Judge hire, but every other guy on here has some type of ties to Judge, and he believes in them to be, the hard workers, old school football coaches that are teachers and that to want to get their players better by, the physicality of the game and whatnot. But there's not much to go off with Wright except for his pedigree at Alabama, which is, it's nothing to look down upon because of what Alabama is. But that's really quick update video for you guys. All the deals will be finalized, I'm guessing, later tonight. We'll get to see what it's like, how long they're signed on for and whatnot. I like the Bret Bielema signing. I'm very unsure on the Jerome Henderson signing. Oh no, that's the other way around, my bad. I like the Jerome Henderson signing, but I'm unsure on the Bret Bielema signing. I'm okay with the Freddie Kitchen signing. I gotta see where that goes. I have a feeling he's gonna be an assistant head coach, because I don't know if he'll come on as an offensive line coach or tight ends coach when we got Jody Wright over here, who's probably would be better fitted there. And yeah, that's about it. Let me know what you guys think about these coaching hires and rumors. That's it for today. I'm out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Put your comments down below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Until next time, I'm out.